Love? I've been turning these words over and over in my mind all night, wondering how to let them spill out in a way that won't leave either of us tangled in confusion again. I need you to picture the scene as it really happened. Me lying awake in the dark room lit only by the faint glow of the city lights slipping through the curtains, listening to two voices inside me wrestle for the steering wheel of my heart. My mind, ever the cautious guardian, kept raising red flags, warning that I might stumble over my own feelings and fumble this confession the way I've done before. It whispered that you'd misunderstand, that I'd over-explain, that my words would twist into knots and leave us both exhausted. But then my heart, brave and stubborn, stood its ground. It insisted, softly at first, then louder and louder, that this time could be different. It said I had grown, learned, suffered, healed in slow secret ways that only relentless nights like this can teach someone. It promised me that if I spoke as honestly as I felt, if I trusted you enough to hold my trembling truth, we could break the pattern instead of repeating it. So the two sides of me engaged in a fierce, wordless debate, logic crossing swords with faith, caution clashing with hope, until the ticking clock on the wall sounded like a war drum urging them on. Hours later, when dawn's first pale blush edged the window, I finally sat up, utterly drained, and did something desperate. I begged them to hush. I closed my eyes and whispered, "Please, just silence." And miraculously, they listened. Everything went still. The mental static fell away, like someone had flipped the power switch, leaving me suspended in the calmest hush I'd felt in months. In that pocket of silence, a single realization sparked. I can no longer let fear pilot my life. I can't let the dread of stumbling once again bind my tongue or bar my heart from inviting you all the way in. So right now, on this quiet morning that feels more like a brand new lifetime than just another sunrise, I'm choosing the side of my heart. I'm choosing to stand in front of you with sincerity unfiltered, ready to risk the quiver in my voice because the message matters more than my comfort. I'm writing these words to tell you, clearly, completely, undeniably, that I have fallen for you. Not with the gentle drift of a leaf, but with the gravity of a meteor catching fire as it slices through the sky. This love is not a flicker waiting for the next breeze to snuff it out. It's a hearth that's been steadily gathering heat, turning embers into flame each time you spoke kindness into my cracks. I need you to know how deeply those sparks have taken root. Remember that rainy Thursday 3 months ago when we dashed through puddles, laughing like rebels against the storm? I replay that memory like a favorite scene in a cherished film, because somewhere between the thunder and your unguarded grin, I realized the universe had stitched us into the same story. Or last week, when you told me about your childhood fears, and I recognized the trembling echoes of my own. That night, I learned how healing it feels to have someone cradle your secrets without the slightest flinch. All those moments, the small, the ordinary, the quietly profound, have collected like pearls on a string, each one glittering proof that my heart has been choosing you over and over, long before my mind caught up. And yet, even with all this certainty glowing inside me, there's a shadow I need to drag into the light. The fear of acceptance. Not fear of loving you. That part feels as natural as breathing. But fear of stepping fully into that love, hands unhidden, soul unarmored. Society loves to caution us that diving too fast, too deep is reckless. That we should keep an exit strategy handy, keep at least 1 foot on dry land. We're taught to ration affection the way farmers ration water in drought, just enough to keep the crop alive, but not enough to risk draining the well. I won't lie. I've swallowed that lesson for years. It lingers like an aftertaste, telling me to measure every confession, to downplay the earthquake rumbling in my chest. But I'm tired of half-truths. Tired of acting casual when my pulse races at the mere mention of your name. Love was never meant to be managed like inventory. It's a river, not a balance sheet. And rivers, when dammed for too long, eventually erupt with double the force. So here I am, releasing the floodgates, not to drown us, but to let these waters finally run clear. I choose honesty because what we're building deserves nothing less. If there are risks in living with our hearts unlocked, so be it. Every breathtaking vista on earth is perched at the edge of some cliff. But oh, the view is worth the vertigo. Let me be transparent. I still carry scars from past attempts at vulnerability. There were times I handed someone my fragile hopes only to watch them toss those hopes like carelessly folded paper boats into a storm I wasn't ready to weather. I'm haunted sometimes by the echo of promises that never made it across the finish line. That history is what makes me flinch when my feelings grow loud. It's why my mind tries to slap duct tape over my mouth each time my heart leans forward. But the way you listen, the way you honor my pauses, the way you don't rush to fill my silences, has shown me that not every hand will crush what you place inside it. Some hands were made to mend. I also know commitment isn't a single declaration. It's a daily choosing. It's waking up when the novelty has worn off and still deciding, yes, I'm in this. It's walking through the seasons where excitement goes quiet and routine speaks louder, then still turning to each other with softness instead of boredom. So when I say I'm deeply invested in you, it isn't a flourish of romance with no backbone. It's a vow to keep showing up even when showing up means humble apologies, awkward conversations, or tackling obstacles we never saw coming. My love is not just a feeling. It's a blueprint for action. I'm aware that honesty invites questions, and I'm ready for yours. Ask me what I'm afraid of losing. I'll tell you it's losing the warmth we've already woven between us. Ask me why I believe we're worth the risk. I'll point to the way a single evening with you feels like a homecoming after years of wandering. Ask me what I need from you. I'll say presence, real presence, the kind that sees, hears, and values the soul more than the performance. Ask me what I offer in return. I'll say partnership, loyalty, a shoulder sturdy enough to share the weight of your own midnight battles. Sometimes I dream about the life we could carve together if we both lean in fully. Simple things, mostly your laughter mixing with mine in a kitchen while Sunday breakfast crackles on the stove. Us rummaging through old bookstores, debating which worn-out volume deserves a second chance. Evenings on a rooftop watching the city hum like a living constellation below us. Our fingers laced, our worries softened by that infinite stretch of sky. Grand adventure is beautiful, but I've learned that true intimacy flourishes in the ordinary. When we can cherish mundane minutes, then the extraordinary moments turn into bonuses rather than lifelines. I also trust that loving someone is never about perfection, it's about evolution. There will be mornings when I wake up moody, when shadows of old anxieties make my words sharp. There will be nights when your silence might scare me into thinking you're pulling away. In those moments, let's promise to hold curiosity above assumption. Let's pledge that if one of us stumbles, the other doesn't rescind affection, but offers a steady hand. I'm prepared to lean into that messy dance because I believe growth happens in the embrace of patience, not the glare of judgment. I want you to imagine, for a breath, the legacy we could leave in each other's hearts if we chose unwavering transparency. Stories we'd tell years from now about how we weathered storms side by side, financial strains, family tensions, conflicting ambitions, yet never let our bond shrink. We'd smile about how we learned each other's love languages so fluently that even on the busiest days, a single glance was enough to refill an empty tank. We might even laugh about the night I first handed you this rambling love letter, afraid I might fumble my chance, and how you surprised me with the gentlest grin, as though you'd been waiting for my courage all along. So, my love, here is the heartbeat in its rawest rhythm. I am choosing you without disclaimers. I am choosing you with the lights on, flaws visible, fears acknowledged. I am choosing you not because someone predicted you'd be perfect, but because every fiber in me feels at home when I'm growing beside you. If you're willing to step into this same space of audacious, undefended love, then let's draw the curtains on doubt and let the day flood in. Let's write new definitions of commitment that suit our unique language, where honesty is the grammar, forgiveness the punctuation, and tenderness the melody underscoring every line. You deserve the full scope of my devotion, not bite-sized confessionals rationed out on safe days. And I deserve the chance to love without the muzzle of what-ifs. So here's my hand, open, warm, imperfect, eager. Here's my heart, no longer split between the debates of night. I invite you to take them, examine them, decide if they fit inside the contours of your own dreams. Whatever you choose, know this. Speaking these words sets me free. Free from the fear that real might be too much. Free from the myth that vulnerability equals weakness. And most of all, free to honor the truth that blossomed quietly in those sleepless hours. Truth that insists love, to stay alive, must be spoken aloud. I hope you feel the sincerity humming through every sentence. I hope these 2,000 or so words serve not merely as declaration, but as an open doorway. Step through it with me, if you will. Let's explore the landscape on the other side, together, where our fears are not banished, but gently guided, where our hope is not naive, but fiercely resilient, and where our love is not hidden in shadows, but thriving in the wide awake light. With my whole, unguarded heart, yours,